Good morning, dude and dudettes. Everybody knows. One take. So, for today, we are going to go into Unit 5.8. This is a rather big unit, so I'll split it up into two shorter videos. The first aspect of this unit is going to be talking about why do we care about demographics, and going into individual countries to better understand the value of the demographics, i.e., who the population is, where the population is located, and what that population is doing, essentially. So, first off, I want to talk about the general connection of this content to previous parts of the unit. The main aspect we're focusing on with this video is going to be the repercussions of economic liberalization in the long run and what it ended up causing across all cultures. And the main idea that we're talking about is going to be economic liberalization created better health outcomes and better life expectancy and better birth rates, argumentatively. And by birth rates, I don't mean the amount of births each woman has, but the success rate of each birth, right? So if you go back 200 years ago, the infant mortality rate is 50, 100 times higher than what it is today. Infant mortality is relatively low in most standard countries. If you didn't know, America is one of the worst places on earth for infant mortality, specifically during birth. Many reasons why, but fun little fact. So with that growing population, and now the fact that people are living longer, people are having better lives, what does that end up causing? Well, naturally, due to economic liberalization, we've seen better economic opportunities. And because of those economic opportunities, we have seen massive amount of internal and external movements of people. So the best example is always going to be China with their special economic zones on the eastern border. If you look at a population breakdown, it is a ridiculously high number. I don't know off the top of my head, but I would assume over 80% of the people live realistically in the short eastern area of Beijing down to Shanghai, Shenzhen. Because of economic opportunities. And due to that, anyone who wants to make money, anyone who wants to innovate, anybody who wants to grow, anybody who is forward thinking is going to leave their hometown in rural areas and move to the urban areas. And that's not a China thing, that's a world thing. That is across the world. In Nigeria, Lagos. In Mexico, northern Mexico. In Iran, most likely they're leaving Iran. Russia, as we know, Western Russia is the entire population, essentially. The UK as well. People are going to go to London, or they'll leave the UK and go to places like Hong Kong, go to places like Singapore. Generally speaking, what we're focusing on migration rates internally and externally. And this is a humongous thing inside of economics, politics, and especially how we see government policies are implemented. The reason why this is important is because some countries have realized that this is a good thing, argumentatively, and they are going to put a lot of influence into this. They're going to try to bring people to their country. I think America did a really great job with that for many years, until very recently. It has been, if you're smart, if you're hardworking, we will give you this H-1B visa, and we want you in the country of America to make America better. Obviously, as of recently, that has not been going very well. Obviously, it's almost the opposite, if not the polar opposite, today than it was when I was in high school. Generally speaking, this migration of internal and external factors is incredibly important to an economy and incredibly important to a political atmosphere. So these geographic regions of a country, we're focusing on regions. So with China, we're focused on the special economic zones, which is going to be the eastern seaboard. And obviously, if we look at the population breakdown, if we look at the economic value, it's all on the eastern seaboard. And that is because that is the emphasis of China. China is emphasizing their technological growth and their technological, I want to say, almost dominance inside of the world right now. So naturally, they want people from America, UK. They want the smartest minds in these areas to make sure that they are the best. Shenzhen itself is becoming the new, if not is, the best place on earth to become a tech bro. And it's worked significantly well. Obviously, they're moving from the more rural areas into the less rural areas, and they have a lot of opportunities to become the best of the best. The other area that we can focus on is educational opportunity. It is widely known that Chinese students leave China to go get their education outside of China. Even though China has amazing universities, it's just very common for Chinese students to leave their country. I'm not going to go into the reasons of why, but it is a rather interesting phenomenon. And that's not uncommon. Most of the course countries have this exact issue, is that students in Nigeria do not want to stay in Nigeria because they don't have the economic opportunity, so they leave Nigeria. When they are in high school, they go, you know what, this country is just not for me. It has different political views, different ideological views, different whatever, doesn't have the economic opportunity. I'm going to leave Nigeria and I'm going to go to America. I'm going to go to China. I'm going to go to Southeast Asia, to where economic opportunities are better for me. And that is completely common inside of Iran, inside of Nigeria, inside of Mexico. So what we are focusing on right now is we're trying to focus on how does the country's ideas of immigration impact their economic prosperity. And what we can see inside of countries like Nigeria, in countries like Iran, in countries like China, is that it's very common for students to leave that country and go to another country for better economic opportunities. So I will end the first part of this unit here. Have a great rest of your day. See you well. Sleep well, eat well, have fun.